Meghan is livid. Harry has met someone who is his age, with whom he is in love, and who is in love with him. And Meghan found out about it after she discovered texts on Harry's phone.
No.
I tried so hard.
They really hate each other now, and they cannot hide it anymore.
She was the villain.
How was she dangerous?
Because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image.
Harry was not in love with Meghan Markle.
He was madly in love. The veil is now lifting.
Rumours are flying this week that Prince Harry may have another woman in his life. Secret texts, an angry wife, the whole story. But honestly, the most surprising part isn't the rumour itself. It's that anyone who's followed these two over the past year can hardly say they're shocked. Plenty of people online seem to think the signs have been there for months. Here's what so many people have quietly noticed. This marriage has appeared to be coming apart in plain sight. She films herself relaxing in Paris, only a short distance from where his mother lost her life. She heads to Geneva alone, then Chicago alone. Meanwhile, he keeps returning to London without her, again and again. They run separate brands, separate accounts, separate lives, and now there's talk of another woman. Online, the reaction can almost be summed up in 2 words: saw it coming. So tonight, forget the mystery blonde for a moment. We're going to look back at the year that made people think this relationship was already finished, long before any alleged text surfaced.
I knew Meghan for a bit before she met Harry. Did exactly the same to me, you know. She did that to many people that she knew, that she'd either worked with or was friends with or whatever. It just seems to me she's what I would call a ruthless social climber, who just when people are no longer appropriate parts of her circle, they have to be expunged quickly so she can move on up the ladder.
Do you think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry?
The answer is yes. I mean, every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him. Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him. She controls every single situation like she is the star. And she's turned Prince Harry into a man of non-substance, you know, for her own well-being.
The girl, woman, girlfriend, friend, however you want to put it, and I'm putting it like this for legal reasons, resides, and I'm not going to say if it's actually in Montecito or near Montecito, but it's in the environs. People have seen them together. Oh dear, my goodness, Harry's growing. Is it a backbone? Or, my goodness, maybe he's not going to be able to juggle those balls outside of windows anymore, because maybe they're going to be attached instead of detached. That would be progress, wouldn't it?
The woman Harry once loved and let go. A video that showed exactly how much these two had left in the tank. The month they spent taking separate holidays. The people who openly called his wife a narcissist in front of him. And why many now believe the man who gave up royal life for this woman looks weighed down by regret. Stay with me. This one has receipts. Let's go back to before Meghan. There was Chelsea Davy, the woman many believe Harry looked genuinely happiest with, a Zimbabwean, blonde, carefree, and someone who never seemed interested in palaces or royal protocol. They were together, on and off, for nearly 7 years. Here's the part that matters now, because Harry has said it himself under oath, not once but twice. When he entered that witness box to testify against the newspapers, he didn't begin with policy or some grand principle. He began with her. He blamed the press directly for destroying the one relationship he believed truly made him happy.
Yeah, he loved her a lot, and she really loved him, and they had great fun together. And he liked it because she wasn't worried about the royal family. That wasn't a big deal for her. She just fitted in very easily.
Totally miserable, totally allowing his negative past to take over him, all of these court battles, and just a great sense of sadness, actually, and anger connected to him.
Nothing can actually get through to him to be happy now. He just feels it. It's everything's wrong. So he started having affairs with all sorts of other girls, and she got very upset, and he didn't go and see her for a long time. So she went off and left him. Now that's his fault, 100% his fault.
Describing the constant paranoia, the feeling that he was always being watched and that he couldn't trust anyone around him, a tracking device that turned up on her car. The next part of the story begins with something even more revealing than the rumours themselves. Private arguments reportedly found their way into the newspapers. Then came a headline celebrating the couple's breakup as if it were some kind of victory. Harry has said that the same atmosphere of constant attention damaged his friendships too, leaving him suspicious of people he once trusted and unsure of who was truly on his side. This year, back in the witness box during the Daily Mail case, he described what happened to that relationship as a nightmare. Those were his own words, not anyone else's. In his memoir, he took it even further, admitting he couldn't bring himself to pull Chelsea into that life. He feared the press would chase her endlessly, and he even suggested that
Prince Harry is heartbroken all over again. Now, of course, this is something that he is never going to admit publicly, especially as his marriage to Meghan Markle crumbles.
How many tears left I? How many? I think we'd better get a bottle of champagne to sort of get everybody calm.
The simmering tension between the duplicitous Duke and his facelift-enhanced wife. Here's the red carpet arrival.
Hey, Harry, when you go upstairs.
if he truly had the choice, he wouldn't have wanted that royal life for himself either. Read that carefully. Harry is on the record saying he would have walked away from the entire royal machine if someone had given him the chance. He believes that same machine cost him the woman he loved, and she wasn't the only relationship affected by it. Cressida Bonus, the girlfriend who came after Chelsea, also decided the royal spotlight wasn't for her. She took one long look at life inside that fishbowl and stepped away. Two independent women. Both cared deeply about Harry. Both looked at the demands of royal life and chose a different path. And here's the part many people tend to overlook. Chelsea didn't disappear with bitterness or resentment. She showed up at St. George's Chapel in 2018 and watched Harry marry Meghan, smiling alongside everyone else. The woman many call the one who got away sat just a few rows away as he embraced the very life he had once suggested he wanted to spare her from.
This is her in the car videoing herself with her legs up as she went past the tunnel in which Diana Spencer was so tragically killed in Paris.
Well, how about having some thought towards your husband's feelings when you're in the same city his mom died in, running around having a joyride in Paris near where she lost her life, especially when he's on the BBC saying that it's not safe enough for my family in the UK, but it's safe enough for Meghan to be alone in Paris, literally engaging with the paparazzi you say killed your mother?
To many watching, it felt like a striking contrast. The woman who had once brought him happiness applauded as he began a new chapter that would later face intense public scrutiny. Put that storyline into a television drama, and plenty of viewers would probably say it felt too unbelievable. Yet here we are. Harry never really escaped the circus. Instead, many critics argue he traded one spotlight for another. Chelsea kept her distance from cameras, while Meghan built projects that often welcomed them, including a Netflix crew. To many observers, that contrast became impossible to ignore. It was the kind of irony that kept people talking and added even more debate to an already complicated story. Now, we come to the moment that for an awful lot of people seemed to say the quiet part out loud. Last autumn, during Paris Fashion Week, Meghan was in Paris for the Balenciaga show, and she posted a short clip to her own Instagram. One short video ended up getting far more attention than almost anyone expected. It was nighttime. She was sitting in the back seat of a car as the city lights drifted across the windows. There she was, leaning back comfortably with her heels resting on the seat, filming her shoes while cruising through the streets of Paris as the river slipped by outside. Here's why that clip exploded across social media. She was traveling along the river, not far from the underpass where Harry's mother, Princess Diana, lost her life following a car crash after being pursued by photographers. Paris, a nighttime drive. Those parallels were immediately noticed by many viewers. Critics questioned why anyone would choose that exact backdrop for what looked like a casual fashion-focused video. Afterward, her representatives reportedly said she hadn't realized how close she was to that location. People drew their own conclusions from that explanation. Some believed she genuinely didn't know exactly where the route passed. Others argued she was fully aware. Whatever people believed, the debate spread quickly, and neither interpretation did much to quiet the criticism. There really wasn't much middle ground in the public reaction. Even some people who had defended her before admitted this decision was difficult to understand and felt remarkably tone-deaf. One royal commentator openly admitted he couldn't make sense of what she was thinking. And look at the wider context. She wasn't in Paris for a memorial or a private family visit. She was attending Fashion Week, sitting front row at major runway shows, embracing the world of luxury fashion and high-profile appearances. It was meant to be a glamorous trip. Yet, out of every road in Paris, many critics focused on the fact that this particular stretch became the setting for that video. That detail kept the conversation alive for days. The timing, the location, and the imagery combined into something many people felt overshadowed everything else about the visit. What made the criticism even stronger was Harry's own history. Only a couple of years earlier, he'd spoken publicly about how a paparazzi pursuit through New York had deeply shaken him. He said it brought back painful memories and fears that history could repeat itself. That has long been one of the most emotional subjects in Harry's public life. It's why so many observers found the contrast impossible to ignore. While he had spoken about those fears so openly, his wife was sharing a relaxed video from a nighttime drive in Paris. Whether fair or unfair, people immediately began wondering what conversations that moment may have sparked behind closed doors. If you really want clues about the state of a marriage, some say the calendar often says more than any carefully written statement ever could. And this year, their schedules have looked more like two completely separate diaries that rarely cross paths. The distance has become harder for many people to ignore as the months have gone by. Take just one example. This May, Meghan travelled to Geneva on her own for a major speech, stepping into her own spotlight, receiving her own standing ovation while continuing a schedule that many noticed was increasingly separate from Harry's. What happened next only added more fuel to the growing speculation surrounding their relationship. Harry was nowhere to be seen. Just days earlier, Meghan had also travelled to Chicago on her own. No Harry, no children, just Meghan attending another event across the country by herself. Many observers pointed out that it didn't look like an isolated occasion. Over time, she appeared to build an increasingly busy solo social calendar filled with high-profile appearances. There was a museum gala she attended alone, followed by a children's hospital gala where she wore a dress many people recognized from years earlier. Once again, Harry wasn't by her side. Then came a pledge dinner, a red carpet appearance, and a tribute evening honoring her friend Tyler Perry. At each event, photographers captured Meghan on her own, while the empty space beside her became something commentators couldn't stop mentioning. Many people remarked that she seemed to have an active public schedule, and almost every appearance was without her husband. One tabloid even claimed Harry hadn't been photographed alongside Meghan for more than 40 days. Take those tabloid calculations with a healthy dose of skepticism, but the broader point is easy to understand. The pattern of separate appearances became increasingly noticeable, and it gave commentators plenty to discuss. There has even been speculation in some reports that a vow renewal was considered as a way to calm rumours about the marriage. Whether or not that's accurate, the discussion itself became another headline. After all, People often associate vow renewals with couples wanting to reaffirm their relationship, especially when outside speculation has grown louder. The pattern wasn't one-sided either. Harry continued making trips back to Britain without Meghan, this month again, just like the trip before it, and the one before that. Even while in the UK, he hasn't stayed in royal residences. Meghan hasn't joined him on those visits. The official explanation continues to centre on the ongoing security dispute, and many people accept that as the stated reason. Still, critics point out the obvious contrast. The same security concerns that are said to complicate family visits don't appear to prevent Harry from flying across the Atlantic on his own whenever official commitments arise. That inconsistency has become another topic of public debate and endless online discussion. Then comes perhaps the biggest question of all. Harry has spoken publicly about wanting Meghan and the children to visit Britain. He says he wants those trips to happen, yet they never seem to materialise. That gap between public statements and reality has left many people wondering what is happening behind the scenes, with every missed visit creating another round of speculation. And none of this began with rumours about another woman. Long before that, the couple quietly divided much of their public life, separate Instagram accounts. Meghan focused on Netflix projects and her lifestyle brand, while Harry concentrated on Invictus and Polo. Most headlines described it as a professional separation, presenting it as mature and perfectly amicable. Even so, plenty of commentators questioned why a couple so publicly united would choose to build increasingly separate brands. The separate paths didn't begin with an affair. They began with business decisions, individual projects, and carefully divided public roles that many people felt told their own story. Now comes the part many commentators hesitate to say out loud. A growing number of public figures have begun painting the picture of a man who became completely consumed by circumstances around him. One of the biggest names in American television has even described Meghan on air as a malignant narcissist. The criticism didn't stop there. In fact, it only became louder as more public voices weighed in. Those exact 2 words were spoken publicly and placed firmly on the record by one television commentator, and that opinion is far from the only critical assessment that has circulated. Some writers and commentators covering Harry's life have described Meghan as deeply resentful and still carrying unresolved grievances. Other reports have claimed that members of Harry's wider family viewed her with skepticism, with some accounts alleging that one of his uncles privately saw her as an opportunist. Still more critics have argued that Harry appeared to change dramatically after the marriage. Beneath all of those opinions sits the same underlying idea, that Harry no longer looked like an equal partner, but someone increasingly following another person's lead. Just look at how different many people believe he appears today. This is a prince who found himself publicly responding to reports claiming that his wife spoke over him during meetings. Pause on that for a moment. Most people don't feel the need to deny a story like that unless it has already gained real attention. Whether the claim was fair or not, the very fact it became a public discussion says something about how many people viewed the dynamic between them. Then there's the homesickness that many royal watchers believe has become harder for Harry to hide. Last year, Harry wrote that Britain would always be the country. He proudly served. Even commentators who have often criticised him focused on that line. Many interpreted it as the words of someone carrying deep nostalgia and lingering regret. To them, it sounded less like a passing reflection and more like someone still emotionally connected to the life he left behind. One television commentator went as far as describing Harry as desperately lonely in California. Another claimed Harry was still hoping for a call from his brother, inviting him back, while others suggested many of his oldest friends barely recognized the man they once knew. If you believe those accounts, the carefree and playful Harry the public watched for years has slowly become a far more cautious figure, someone who carefully measures every word before speaking. People who have known him for decades have suggested that something about his personality has noticeably changed. Whatever conclusions anyone reaches about the marriage, many observers agree that Harry appears very different from the man he once was. And when people begin describing someone as emotionally switched off, speculation naturally follows about where their heart truly is. To many critics, the contrast between the confident prince of the past and the man seen today has become impossible to ignore. That brings us back to the rumour making headlines this week. Maybe now it's easier to understand why so many people reacted the way they did. Claims have circulated online alleging that Meghan found messages on Harry's phone and that another woman, reportedly around his own age, was somehow connected to renewed speculation about his apparent enthusiasm for returning to Britain. The internet has even attached a specific name to those rumours after a single photograph taken at a social event. At this point, however, there is no verified evidence supporting those claims, and it would be unfair to identify or speculate about a private individual, so we will leave the poor woman out of it. But the rumour itself, the simple idea that Harry's attention may have drifted elsewhere, isn't something many people online seem to find difficult to imagine. They've watched everything we've just walked through, and here's the twist that shows how far the whole fairy tale appears to have fallen. You might expect a headline about Harry and a secret woman to send the internet into a frenzy. Instead, it sparked a very different reaction. One of the most liked comments came from someone asking, "Who on this earth would want Harry in the first place?" She even joked that not even Meghan would. Thousands of people agreed. Another comment, with thousands more likes, claimed that even if he were the last man on earth, she still wouldn't be interested. Others simply laughed at what they saw as the irony of the situation. After all, this is the woman many people once said had left her first marriage before eventually marrying a prince. Now, some online believe the tables have turned. They waited years for a moment like this, and judging by the reactions, they weren't about to let it pass quietly. The romance once described as the love story of the century has reached a point where rumours of Harry having another woman are met with jokes instead of heartbreak. Many people aren't asking whether it's true. They're asking what the other woman could possibly be thinking. That alone shows how dramatically public opinion has shifted. So here's where the story finally lands. For years, the narrative many people believed was simple. Meghan led the way while Harry followed close behind. This week, for the first time, that storyline seemed to flip. Now, he's the one at the centre of the whispers. He's the one many believe is homesick, returning again and again to the country he once insisted he had left behind, while Meghan continues building an increasingly independent life thousands of miles away. Whether there's another woman or not almost feels secondary to the larger picture. You don't necessarily need that rumour to understand why people are talking. Many observers see a man who once lost the woman he loved because of royal life, then gave up everything for a new future that hasn't unfolded the way many expected, and who now seems unable to stop looking back at the life he left behind. For critics, this doesn't look like a marriage simply facing a rough patch. They see someone reflecting on choices made years ago and wondering what they truly cost. He didn't lose his old life overnight. He chose a different path, embraced a new chapter, and only later, according to many commentators, began realizing how much had changed after the decisions were already made. Of course, any rumors are likely to be denied, as they often are. But many people believe the public image stopped matching the fairy tale quite some time ago. And once the conversation shifts from asking whether a couple is still in love to asking who else might be involved, many feel the relationship is already under intense scrutiny. Now I want to hear what you think. Is Harry someone who simply lost his way, or is he living with the consequences of the choices he made? You could make a case for either side. Share your verdict in the comments below because I read every single one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel reach more people interested in these stories. And be sure to subscribe because there's plenty more to come this week. If another major development happens or another solo trip makes headlines, we'll be right back to break it all down. Keep your eyes on Montecito. Somebody there is about to blink.